Steve and Anita. Rachel, the daughter, Rachel finished her work on earth and left the stage in a manner that leaves those of us left behind with a cry of agony in our hearts as the fragile thread of our faith is dealt with so violently. Is anyone strong enough to stay conscious through such teachings as you are receiving? Very few. And even they would have only the briefest whisper of equanimity and peace amidst the screaming trumpets of their rage, grief, horror, and desolation. I can't assuage your pain with any words, nor should I. For your pain is part of Rachel's legacy to you. Not that she or I would inflict such pain by choice, but there it is. And it must burn its purifying way to completion. For something in you dies when you bear the unbearable. And it is only in that dark night of the soul that you are prepared to see as God sees and to love as God loves. Now is the time to let your grief find expression. No false strength. Now is the time to sit quietly and speak to Rachel and thank her for being with you these few years and encourage her to go on with her work, knowing that you will grow in compassion and wisdom from this experience. In my heart, I know that you and she will meet again and again and recognize the many ways in which you have known each other. And when you meet, you will, in a flash, know what now it is not given to you to know, why this had to be the way it was. Our rational minds can never understand what has happened. But our hearts, if we can keep them open to God, will find their own intuitive way. Rachel came through you to do her work on earth, which included her manner of death. Now her soul is free, and the love that you can share with her is invulnerable to the winds of changing time. In love, Ram Dass. Let me just share with you one more story. When I came back from India in 1968, I was living in New Hampshire on my father's farm. And a young fellow came to see me. He was about 18 or 19. He was living on the Lower East Side of New York. He was from Russian parents. And he was from quite wealthy parents, actually. But he was living as a kind of a hippie in New York with his girlfriend. And he came to see me and he said, I'd like to study yoga with you. Hatha yoga and so on. I was teaching all those things at the time. And we sat together, and he was a very unusual fellow. And at one point, we were looking in one another's eyes, and this blue light flashed between our third eyes. And it was so powerful, we both fell over backwards at the same moment. And I had no idea what that was. So he began to study yoga, and he would come to see me. His parents had a place nearby in an island, and he would go there, and he came to see me. And he started to improve. He was doing Hatha yoga. Pretty soon he was doing it. By the end of the summer, I said, look, you now need a real teacher. I mean, I'm great, but I'm kind of a schlock, teacher, and you need a real one. And so I'd suggest you see so-and-so or so-and-so. He said, well, I think I have enough of the basics. I'm going to go into a cave on my parents' place down in Arizona, and I'm just going to do yoga all winter. If I can just fly to wherever you are once a month and see you, fine. So every month he would fly to see me. And he was starting to look like a yogi. He was fasting, and he was getting that kind of look about him. And then he didn't come in February, and he didn't come in March. And in April, and I didn't think much about it, in April I got a letter from his mother saying, My son has entered Mahasamadhi, which in India means it's when you die and you enter the enlightened state. That's very strange for a Russian woman to say to me, and I realized she was saying her son had died. She said, I'm coming to see you because I have to show you his diary. So she came to see me, and she was somewhat of a hysterical woman, and she showed me this diary, and it said, scribbled in big scrawl on the pages, was, Mother, I have finished my work. I am with Christ, and I'm with Maharaji, which is my guru, who he met through me. Tell Ram Dass it's all right. I will be watching over you. You need have no fear. Vaya con Dios, go with God. Love. Signed it. She says, see, he finished his work. To be honest with you, what happened to me when I looked at that book was I saw this big scrawling writing, and I thought, where have I seen that before? And then I remembered that in all the times I've taken LSD, there are moments when you are way, way, way out there, and you suddenly see the grand design of the entire universe, and you want to remember it. So I would stagger across the room to get a pen and something to write on. And I'd write this laboriously, this wise thing, which the next day would turn out to be like the word is. Which undoubtedly was the secret of the universe, except I no longer understood it. So it looked to me like it was acid writing. And I thought, uh-oh, he took acid, and he probably, because they found him in his cave with blood on the walls from his nose, he probably took acid and did pranayama or something and burst his heart and died. She said, he did finish his work and he's enlightened, isn't he? I said, well, I don't know. But I said, I know somebody who would know, my guru in India, because he knows everything. I'll ask him, I'm going in the fall, I'll ask him, send me a picture of your son. So she sent me his high school graduation picture, which I put in my valise for going to India. 6 months later, I'm in India. I've forgotten about the picture. It's in my stuff. One day, we're sitting with my guru, my spiritual teacher, and he's looking through everybody's bags and taking out their pictures and looking at them and kidding about them. And I remember this picture. So I go back to my room and I get the picture and I bring it out. I don't say a word about it. I haven't talked to anybody about it. And I place it on his thing he's sitting on in front of him. And he's talking, and finally he looks down. He looks at this high school graduation picture and he says to me, he's dead. I said, yep. He said, he died from your medicine, meaning the LSD. I've got to tell you, I've forgotten one part of the story. 2 weeks after the mother came, his friend came, his brother actually came. And he said, I've got to tell you this. He said, I went to visit with a friend of mine. I went to visit my brother out in the cave. And I brought some acid, and we all took acid together, and we went swimming. And while we were swimming, he came over to hug me, and I went into a homophobic reaction, and I pushed him away. And he got upset, and he told us to leave, and that was the last time I saw him alive. So now you see what I had in my mind. He took acid, paranoid, went back, tried to do yoga, killed himself. That's not enlightenment. Now Maharaji, my guru, is sitting there. He says, he died from your medicine. I said, see, I knew it. And Maharaji looked at me and said, nay. He heard the tone of my voice. And then Maharaji said, he is one with Christ and with me. He finished his work. He is watching over his mother. She need not fear. And he quoted word from this boy's diary. Exactly, word for word. And he said he told her to go with God. He said he finished his work. And when he said that to me, all of my models about how you're supposed to die were completely undercut. And I realized that when somebody was ready, the hook came out from the side of the stage and they left. And our models of you're supposed to go out dancing were just our models. That it was a much deeper story than that. And my guru said, nobody dies a moment before their time, and nobody remains a moment after it. And in Tibet, where they have cultivated so much awareness free of identity with that which changes, there are lamas who are so conscious that there was one that sent out cards to everybody saying, "I will be dying next Thursday at 2. Won't you come by for tea?" People came, they had tea. He turned around 3 times, sat down, went into samadhi, and left his body. Now, I just want to play with the edge of the mystery with you. The mystery of Anita's death. The